എല്ലാവർക്കും നമ്മുടെ ഞായറാഴ്ചത്തെ ഭൗതികിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം. ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ഒരു വിശിഷ്ട വ്യക്തി ഊർഗി എന്നാണ് ചേർന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് എളുപ്പം ഒരു ചെറിയ ഇൻട്രഡക്ഷൻ. Adv.Mr. MA.Niranjan സാറാണ് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ഇന്ന് ചേർന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഇത് ഞാൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലൊന്ന് എളുപ്പം വായിക്കാം. A highly respected legal professional from Madikeri, he has been a meritorious student throughout his academic career and actively participated in elocution, debate, and quiz competitions, winning first place in university level debate 3 times. He served president of the Law College Union in 1995 and as a vice president of the Manglore University. Since 1996, he has been practicing law in Madikeri, specializing in civil and criminal law. He currently serves as the president of the Madikeri Bar Association and acts as a legal advisor for various institutions. President of Lions Club, he is also dedicated to community engagement, frequently speaking on legal issues on All India Radio and local TV channels to educate public. Today's topic is dwindling human values and relationships. മാനുഷിക മൂല്യങ്ങളും ബന്ധങ്ങളും കുറയുന്നു. ഇതാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ വിഷയം. നിരഞ്ജൻ സാറിന് മലയാളം അത്ര അറിയില്ലെങ്കിലും ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോട് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലും കന്നഡയിലും മലയാളത്തിലും കുറച്ചൊക്കെ മിക്സ് ചെയ്താണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്നത്തെ വിഷയം സംസാരിക്കാനായിട്ട് എല്ലാവരുടെ പേരിലും എൻ്റെ പേരിലും നമ്മുടെ സമിതിയുടെ പേരിലും ഞാൻ നിരഞ്ജൻ സാറിന് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഈ വിഷയത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കാൻ ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. വെൽക്കം നിരഞ്ജൻ സാർ, യു ക്യാൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ട്.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I wish you all a very happy Sunday. I hope it is okay if I speak in English and add a bit of Kannada. Malayalam Mansalavu Vakparyanavalle, because whatever little bit of Malayalam I learned, it is more out of the Malayali friends I had in the law college. But that is about 30 years back. But I think you can manage with bit of English. And is it okay for Kannada also in between?
Yes.
Okay. And I also thank each one of you and also our friend, I hope she is there, Prijita Nair, who in fact invited me to be part of this. And I'm extremely happy to share a few of my thoughts with you all. I'm used to address the gathering on the stage, but it is a new phenomena. Probably the same vigor and zeal I may not get sitting and addressing you all, but I think you're all learned people, and more than the lecture, I know you had a very good morning session. I was just observing the last 5 minutes, and I myself was following the teachings and the breathing, Rechaka and Purakan, because I was also part of Patanjali Yoga school long back. But whatever thoughts, since all of you learned, we will deliberate on few issues of mutual interest. ಇತ್ತೀಚಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಯಶಃ ಬಹಳ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾನವೀಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕುಸಿತವನ್ನ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ದಟ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹಸ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್. ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್, human relationship, I mean whether the relationship between a husband and wife, brother and sister, as a family, because somewhere down the line we have become, in the mad rush for the monetary gain, we have lost on human touch. As an advocate for last 30 years, I have come across very alarming change in the nature of cases that come before the court. when I joined the profession in 95, 96, for example, number of diverse cases, that is the diverse cases, vichedana prakaranagalu, it used to be not more than 10 or 15 in a year. But you will be shocked. Now it is, and on average, more than 100 to 150 a year. That dramatic shift is a reflection of how we live in the present society. Friends, probably a great part of it has to do with the breakdown of the joint family system. As you all aware, we were all born with lot of family members around, father, grandfather, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts. There was a security for the elders and also security for the young generation, the small children. The breakdown of joint family system, in a way, now it has become like the family where only the husband and wife along with the children live in the big cities. The small rural setup has lost its charm and everybody is rushing towards the city. And any small differences within the family. Earlier time, I vividly remember that any dispute within the family, the senior most member of the family, the elder member, probably a patriarchal head, used to sit and solve the issues for the family. And most of it were resolved within the four walls. And friends, now I have seen a situation where young couple married just for 15 days or 1 month, they come to us and say that there is a breakdown in marriage, irreconcilable differences, so they want to go for a divorce. We advise them usually to at least try to bring and reapproachment, wait for certain period, and see that something can be worked out. They are not ready because they want to be separated fast and furious. I'm just, they don't even have respect for the feelings of the parents and elders who would have spent lakhs of rupees in getting their children married. Thousands of guests coming and blessing them, and everything gets over in a short duration. And absolute lack of understanding. The small children in the cities I've seen, I'm not saying that it is a general rule. There may be a family where still happy in the cities. There are most families still happy in the cities. And of course, people like who are all into this, the yoga system of practice, they have a lot more balanced approach in life. I have seen where a mother goes out to work in the morning and returns in the evening, and father goes out to work in the evening and returns next day morning. So this children literally are deprived of a loving uh, family, especially love and affection from the parents. The small and young are left at the mercy. ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಈಗ ಅವರವರ ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸದವ್ರು ಯಾರಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರೇ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ಸಾಕಿ ಬೆಳೆಸುವಂತ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ನಾವಿವತ್ತು ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ನಗರ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಈವನ್ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. The values which probably a children needs to be inculcated at a very young and tender age, that is being missed out. I have seen, just for the sake of the family's need, and both are working out parents, ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳು 2 ವರ್ಷ 1.5 ವರ್ಷ 2 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆನೆ they are put to the kindergarten school. They are not even able to address ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯುವ ಮೊದಲೇ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. They are made to sit the class and made to study subjects or alphabets which they are not interested at that tender age, probably say at 2.5 or 3 years. And literally, I think it is a sort of abuse of the child, because usually as a young child, they would love to spend their time in fun, play at home with the elders. probably all that we learned, whether it is Ramayana or Mahabharata or any great epics, as a young boy, it was not from reading any book. It was while sleeping on the lap of my grandfather or a grandmother. We were taught all these great epics, and it is still very intact in our memories because the way in which the elderly people used to narrate. But where is that system? We do not even have an elderly people at home. Uh, Especially, I'm looking at Kurk, Kodagu district. Most of you would have visited who are not outside Kodagu. It is becoming a home for the elderly people. Most of the youngsters looking for job and employment and education have gone out of the district. And most of the elderly people who are looking after the plantation are left here. Of course, I don't blame the younger generation because the opportunities are more outside compared to this district. But if the same trend goes, the situation will come that this district will become an old age hub. Uh, and they require security. They require emotional attachment, just like a young child requires all the support system. The elderly also require that. But most of the time it is ignored. I always say the actual development of a country is not reflected in the GDP or the gross domestic product. The country which has more number of orphanage and more number of old age homes is not a good reflection of the healthy society. But sadly, we see such kind of development in these days. Uh, and youngsters, for a change, uh, we invented technology, friends. We are, of course, connected through technology. We can't blame everything for that, but we invented technology to assist us. But what has happened is we have surrendered ourselves to the technology. ಅತಿಯಾದ ಬಳಕೆ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗಿನ ಯುವ ಜನರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತೇವೆ. ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎನಿ ರೀಸನ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ಅವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ go to the mobile. Mobile was in fact invented to connect people, but I can say it has only disconnected people. It has We have been connected with people who are far away, but disconnected with the people who are near to us. ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವು ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರ ಮನೆಗೆ, ನೆಂಟರಿಷ್ಟರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋದೇ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ ಇತ್ತು. And then came a stage where we used to talk over the phone. ಈಗ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ನಿಂತೋಯ್ತು, ದೂರವಾಣಿ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮಾತನಾಡೋದು ನಿಂತೋಯ್ತು. We have come to a stage where it is just a chat. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಗೀತು. ಯಾರ್ದಾರು ಹುಟ್ಟುಹಬ್ಬಕ್ಕೆ HBD ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಗೀತು. We don't even write the full word happy birthday, or ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಸತ್ತೋದ್ರೆ ರಿಪ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. So we don't use the language also, because now I'm afraid that lack of communication, lack of people speaking to each other, lack of people visiting each other's home may lead to a stage where we go back to the primitive age where there is no language, it was only signs, the tribal people. So it is a shocking development. The people are so disconnected that everything we just message it. I have seen houses where living in the same room, the wife is in the kitchen, the husband is in the bedroom. The wife sends him a WhatsApp message that your breakfast is ready, and the husband is saying that I'm there, and the children messaging their parents just within the house, I'm leaving the house, and they go. There is total disconnect, and this is something, unless addressed very seriously, will have a very bad effect not only on the society, the household, and it will be very difficult to change the situation once it gets out of control. I have come across children with attention disorders, elderly people also being hooked to the mobile is what is very shocking. The younger generation, of course, they are always addicted to new phenomena, But I've seen stages and where the senior citizen who have learned about the access of mobile only of late are holding on to the gadgets more than the many middle-aged people. Probably that also has to got to do with the fact that there are not many people who are connected to the elderly. See, if the children are studying outside, they rarely call them, and the family members who are in the house, they rarely speak. And an easiest access for all these people is engross their time in the mobile, and that also needs to be socially looked into. For all the work we are doing, you're all, I think your organization, we work in the Lions, we work in many NGOs. There are many things where we need to have a support system to bring back a system where we all had about 30, 40 years back. ಬಹಳ ಲವಲವಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಕಳೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಸ್ವಚ್ಛಂದದಿಂದ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಕಳೆಯೋದು, ಒಬ್ಬರೊಬ್ರು ಪರಸ್ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹಬ್ಬ ಹರಿದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿ ನಾವು ಬದುಕುವಂತ ಆ ಕಲೆಗಳೇ ಮರ್ತು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಒಬ್ರು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗೋರ್ಗೂ ಕಷ್ಟ, ಬರೋರು ಸಹ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಇವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾಮ್ರಾಡ್ರಿ, ದಟ್ affection probably has drained. People just like to be left to themselves. ಅಷ್ಟು ಅವರ ಐಸೋಲೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿನೆಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಸಮಾಜ ಜೀವಿ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ changing the very concept of these philosophies of the Greek. Friends, there are several laws that has been passed. In fact, when I was yesterday speaking to Prejita, she said you can speak about women empowerment. I think that is a subject almost most of you are well aware. Why I was touching upon the dwindling human values or relationship is that is something very close to my heart, and that is what is required in the society. I always say life is a long journey between human being and being human, and we have to take a step every day to cover the distance. ಜೀವನ ಆ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯಾಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. I always say 3 places you need to visit in life. One is hospital, second is jail, and third is cemetery. Visiting a hospital makes you understand the value of health. Visiting a jail makes us understand the value of freedom, and visiting a cemetery makes us understand the value of the life that we are living. Most of us in our probably ಜೀವನದ ಜಂಜಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇಂತಹ ವಿಚಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ probably organization like you and me, we need to enlighten people about this. Friends, I will just like to touch upon a couple of issues because I do not want to bombard you with a hour-long speech after you have gone through a very refreshing morning of yoga and breathing exercise. But of course, we can deliberate for last 10 minutes if there is any such issues. Now, there are several laws which have been implemented for the protection of women. Yes, of course, women in India are discriminated, exploited, whether in domestically or in the working place. There are many cases, umpteen number of cases. In fact, exploitation of women within the household do not come to light. ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬೆಳಕಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Of course, harassment in workplace, many women have to suffer in silence because if they raise their voice, the superior may remove them from the job because they need to have the livelihood. Because I always feel that true independence for women is only when they are economically independent. ಸ್ವಾವಲಂಬಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಬದುಕಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, they are not, it does not mean that they are not living a good life. But most women who are facing discrimination, who are facing exploitation, and if they are not economically independent, they are still at the mercy of the person abusing them. But as much as we need to protect women against this exploitation, there are also situations where I find total misuse of laws enacted to protect women. For example, Dowry Prohibition Act. There is a section earlier IPC, now it has become a different enactment, 490/88 probably. For any dispute between husband and wife, I have seen even a minor issues, the women or the wife, they go and file cases against husband and their family members, the parents. Usually the parents of the husband, they may not have any role to play in the entire scenario. But I have seen, and the courts have held on umpteen times, that in a small or a simple squabble between husband and wife, the parents are pulled into equation. They are made to come to the police station, FIR is filed, and there are several cases arrested and put behind the jail. Once a matter goes to the police station between husband and wife and the parents are involved, there is absolutely a very limited chance that marriage will survive thereafter, because once the hearts are broken, once these issues go beyond control, there is very limited chance that people can reconcile. Also, I have seen where whenever a case is filed, even after 5 or 6 years, 10 years of marriage, for a woman files a case against the husband and a dowry prohibition act is brought into picture, saying that at the time of marriage or even now they are harassing me for dowry. And the parents, poor parents or sisters and brothers of the husband are made to face the criminal process. I'm not saying when the genuine cases you should keep quiet if there is such harassment, but most of it are misused only to intimidate the other side and get the relief. I think probably as a parent, while we upbring the children, we should always make it clear that there should be a balance. When we have a son or a daughter, we should educate them how to live as a husband or wife in the family and what are their responsibilities. We only teach the children about their rights, whether it is daughter. For every right, there is a corresponding duties. We need to make the children understand their duties and responsibilities. It is a huge challenge for them when they come to the new world. So we have to lay that foundation for them. I think probably more than teaching, we have to follow those uh, behavioral issues with ourselves, because people learn by observing. If I need to teach my children to be a good citizen, I need to be a good citizen first. I need to be a good father. I need to be a good son. I need to be a good husband. Unless I fulfill those criteria, I think probably if I just blindly teach something, uh, children may not uh, follow that, because usually they say they know that there will be a double standard. He is preaching something but not following it. So probably it is all our duty that we need to uh, address these issues. Though it from the outside world, it may not be uh, something which requires like a war in uh, abroad, whether it is between Israel and Palestine, Ukraine, Russia. It may not be that serious, but I always say uh, the present technology, the mobile phones, are more dangerous than the nuclear bombs, because it is affecting the very health and mental ability and mental health of the entire uh, young generation who are the future of this country. So we need to address these issues, make them understand the realities of life. Somewhere down the line, we need to bring back the old way of life. Probably ಈಗಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ದು your old mindset doesn't work. But I always feel that there should be a balance between the old and the new. The present technology, as much as it is important, should have its own limitations, should have its own, we should have a control over its usage. Otherwise, they will take control over us. I also had few occasions where uh, there are several disputes being filed in the courts now over the rights over the property. Why I'm saying that, it's all connected to the human values and relationships. The partition suits between brothers, where the daughter's right have been given in 2005 Central Amendment, where a daughter is given equal right in the property just like a son. Of course, that legislation needs to be appreciated, because there are many cases where daughters probably uh, don't have sufficient means to survive. But I've seen cases where daughters are well educated, they are given in a marriage with all grandeur, expenses met, they are all well settled, and the brother or a boy who didn't educate himself and always looking after the property or agriculture, he is in the village, and the sister, under the pressure of her husband or whoever, comes and files a partition too. Some 5 acres or 10 acres, they want equal share. I think by giving, the court or law may give them the share, but they would have lost the relationship with the brother. When the daughters or the women, they have sufficient means to maintain themselves, if they have sufficient property for taking care of themselves, I think they should always respect that their brother who is an agriculturist or a farmer who is taking care of a small property in their native house, if he retains that, I think he will take care of the sister better when a need arises. So our human relationships are more important than a right over the property. But of course, when we are in absolute need of financial assistance, the ladies, the girls, or younger, they have every right to claim maintenance. I've seen situations where it is very heartbreaking that senior citizens, the parents who had literally brought us up, are coming to the court with an application for maintenance against their son, and the son refusing to pay the maintenance even as paltry as probably say 2 to 3,000 a month. And I see parents sitting at one place, and of course a son on the other side, absolutely looking to each other as enemies. And I'm just thinking what would have been the situation 20, 25 years back when this son was a small child and the parents literally used to take care of him like a baby. But once they grow up, when they need the money, the son is too concerned with his own life, and the parents are harassed to pay a basic uh, maintenance to live a life of dignity. ಈ ತರದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. And I've seen the other heartbreaking thing in the courts of late is when the divorce proceedings happen, and there is a child. The child is brought to the court, and a very young child, 6 years or 7 years or 8 years, and he is made to stand before the court, and the judges question the child as to what is his life, whether he likes to go with the father or whether he likes to live with the mother. Can we imagine a small child making a decision, and can they decide whom they will prefer to stay, because they want both of them? But these are the things part of any divorce proceedings where there is a child and the custody is naturally given to the mother and a visiting rights to father. But the turmoil the child goes through, the mental agony the child goes through is irreparable. We all need to understand these issues in a larger context. Uh, Probably, I don't think so that we can put an end to litigation. ಇನ್ನೇನು ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ರೈಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಬರೋದಾಗ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್, ಇವಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್, or rather for good or bad, these matters will only go on rise. But our social responsibility is always to connect to people, build that bonding in the family. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಸಮಾಜದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಪರಿಣಾಮಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ವೇರಿಯಬಲಿ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ will be a liability to the society. He will be an antisocial element in the society. So ಇವುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. I am reminded of Steve Jobs, probably you would know. I'll finish in next 5 to 10 minutes maximum. He, the great founder of Apple, he, in fact, his life itself is a life of challenges. He was only 20, he is born in 1955, and he, at the age of 21, he co-founded or founded Apple, the biggest uh, industry of present days. And in 1985, uh, he was thrown out of his own company, and he was brought back again because the company was lost in loss after he left. And once he comes back, he has revived the company to a great height. So he has given certain quotes which are of great importance or relevance even to the present time, because he was on deathbed. He died young. Uh, and he said uh, very nicely. I'll just repeat it. Uh, don't educate your children to be rich, but educate them to be happy. Eat your food like medicine, otherwise, probably you may have to eat medicine like food. Difference between human being and being human, only few understand. You are loved when you are born, you will be loved when you die. Between that, we have to manage. If you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk long, walk together. These are the some of the very important things he said. And there was in the deathbed, because he said with lot millions and millions of money that he had in the bank balance, he said the pain and sufferings only he can endure. He can't ask his servant or his driver, you please take this pain, because the sufferings, in spite of all the money you had at your disposal, it has to be endured by the person having that illness. Uh, all these things are probably something which we need to keep in mind. Life is not just to make money. Life is not just to uh, make material pursuits. Our ambitions to achieve things. ಈಗಿನ ಸಮಾಜ ಹೇಗಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋ the level of satisfaction. You need to buy more material things. ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯವರು ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮನೇಲೂ resources ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ we want that luxurious car. If the neighbor buys something very costly, probably a necklace or a diamond ring, there is a demand for that in the house. Whether we are able to provide or buy that, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ that is mad rush for the competition. I remember there is a beautiful saying of Bernard Shaw. He said, now that we have learned to fly in the sky like a bird and learned to swim in the sea like a fish, only thing we are yet to learn is to live like a human being on the earth. ಆಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಾರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀನಿನಂತೆ ಈಜಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಭೂಮಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಂತೆ ಬದುಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕಲಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾಕಿ ಇದೆ. So these are the things probably we need to look deep into ourselves, and we all join hands, if because probably all of you in your respective fields have your own experience, maturity, and leadership, and also would have been in some sort of community service, which we need to give back to the society. The society has given us so much. Probably it is time that we also give back and make and see this world becomes a far better place to live. I'm reminded of only a beautiful quotes that I always write on that. If you can follow that in Kannada, ಬದುಕೊಂದು ದೊರಕಿತು ಇನ್ನಾರಿಗೋ ಬೆಳಕಾಗಲೆಂದು, ಬದುಕೊಂದು ದೊರಕಿತು ಇನ್ನಾರಿಗೋ ಬೆಳಕಾಗಲೆಂದು, ಸಮಯ ಸರಿದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತಿದೆ ಕಾಗದದ ತುಂಡು ಗಳಿಸುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹಣ ಪೇರಿಸಿ ಮಾಡುವುದಾದರೂ ಏನು, ಕೊನೆಯ ದಿರಿಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜೇಬಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಸಣದಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಜೋರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು ಯಮನ ದೂತರೋ ಲಂಚ ಮುಟ್ಟುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. That sums up probably who didn't understand Kannada can get the translation from your friends either in Malayalam or English. That is how money can't be everything for people. So I can sum up few of my thoughts that I have shared with you, that strong human relationship, value for the elderly, uh, protection for the young, uh, respect between husband and wife, respect between partners, good bonding in the family are very important for not only for the health of the family, but the health of the society at large, which in a way only builds a more stronger and vibrant country, which we are proud of, our nation. Uh, we need to build this Hindustan or India a strong superpower in the international arena, and we all have a role to play. So let us all contribute small part of our take a small break from our routine life and contribute something to the society back. I think with few thoughts of mine, it is 7:40. So I've tried to engage in a small discussion. It was not a big speech, but I hope you uh, appreciate what I tried to convey. I thank each one of you for your patient hearing. Vande Mataram.
അറിയോ? അപ്പൊ ഇതുവരെ നമ്മൾ തകരുന്ന മൂല്യങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് കേട്ടു. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഒരു ലോയറിനാണ് ഈ സമാജത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ഈ വരുന്ന വ്യത്യാസങ്ങൾ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ അടുത്തും ഓൺ ഗ്രൗണ്ട് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നിരഞ്ജൻ സാർ ഇത്രയും നേരം നമ്മളോട് സ്വന്തം അനുഭവം, സമാജത്തിൽ പണ്ട് എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഇപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ് നടക്കുന്നത്, മൊബൈലിൻ്റെ കാര്യം വളരെ വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും അനുഭവിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. നമ്മുടെ ഈ മൂല്യങ്ങൾ തകരാൻ ടെക്നോളജി ആണെന്നാണ്, അതിലും ഈ മൊബൈൽ. അങ്ങനെ നമ്മുടെ പല പല കാര്യങ്ങൾ, വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ഇതേവരെ നമ്മൾ കേട്ടത്. ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദ്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കാം, മലയാളത്തിൽ ചോദിക്കാം, നമുക്കത് ട്രാൻസ്ലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ചോദിക്കാം. So just to discuss, I guess you have another 10 minutes more?
Yes.
Okay. So now we discussed about mobile, and I guess this technology will only improve, meaning you will have even more dangerous technologies coming up. So do you think our educational system also has to change, and probably we should give more importance how to manage our life when these kind of technologies are around to maintain our human values? Do you?
Exactly. Very nicely put. If I'm not wrong, Mr. Gopal Kumar or
Yes, Gopakumar. Yeah.
Gopakumar. Yes. See, we, if you can think during this COVID time between 2019 to 21, everything was shut, and that was the time when children were taught through online mode, and that is when the real small children got hooked to the mobile. That shows that when they used to go to the school and attend classes from morning to evening, they used to play in the mud, play in the ground, and come back from dirty. But sitting at home watching mobile, the career and the life were spoiled to a great extent. But as you rightly said, if any changes has to be brought, that has to be taught them from the school curriculum. Just like all other social evils we teach the children, the evils of mobile should be taught in the school from the young age, so that probably the children don't listen to the parents as much as to the teachers or other elders. Probably the teachers and the school should make an effort, as you rightly said, to educate the children about the ill effects of mobile.
Right. Thank you. ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദ്യം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതിൽ നമ്മുടെ അനുഭവം, ഇതെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ഓരോരുത്തരും അനുഭവിച്ചിട്ടിരിക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളാണല്ലോ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ നമ്മുടെ സമാജത്തിന് ഇപ്പം ഇത്ര കൂർഗിൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞു, കേരളത്തിലും ഏകദേശം ഇങ്ങനെ തന്നെയാണല്ലോ. പല വീടുകളിലും അച്ഛനും അമ്മയും വയസ്സായ വൃദ്ധരാണ് ഉള്ളത്. പല വീടുകളിലും ഒറ്റയ്ക്കാണ് താമസിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഈ സ്ഥിതി നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കും? നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു കൂട്ടായ്മ, ഒരു 100-200 പേര് നമ്മളിവിടെ ഉണ്ട്. എങ്ങനെ മാറ്റങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ടുവരാം? ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കാൻ ഹരിയും ഇ.വി. നാരായണ പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. ഹരിയും.
Hariom. Sir, I consider you as a great hero because you represent the judiciary of the country. So may I put this question to you? See, as we see of late, our the so-called 3 pillars of the democracy, the judiciary, the legislation, and the executive. We have already seen that the legislative system has become a failure because of the dirty politics we play. And it is same case with the executive, because we're the topmost from the chief minister, the lowest tune, they play all dirty corruption games in the system. And I had great regard for the judiciary, but of late we see that the judiciary is as bad as the other 2 pillars. Because see, we hear in certain cases, because I can quote some examples. In a case from Kerala, the case where the chief minister himself is involved is postponed for the 38th time in the Supreme Court. If I am correct, 38 or 37 maybe. And there are so many cases, right from the beginning, from the lowest court to the highest court, the judgments vary. See, suppose in the lowest court says that he should be punished, the next level says that no, he should be left free, and the third court says that once again he should be punished. And I don't understand where actually the legal system lies in this thing. And the most important question I'm going to ask you is, see, how many years one in India should wait to get the true or the real legal system to, or the final judgment from the court. See, there are cases, which is as pending as, 25 years, 30 years. Is it a judiciary or something mockery we are playing? Where is the future of our democracy? I think, these are my ideas. Maybe, you can throw some light on that. Sir.
Okay.
Yes. Very, very valid points, Mr. Nair, what raised. And being a part of judiciary, I totally concede and agree to his sentiments. Of course, there is a saying, as you all know, justice delayed is justice denied. But at the same time, justice hurried is also justice buried. And we have a very sad situation in India. As you rightly said, hundreds and thousands of cases from official court to Supreme Court. And unless, see, I always believe that it is not that more number of courts will help it. It is not the more number of judges. It is just the work ethics of the judges. Unlike in European countries, where if there is a murder case, where there is a politically important case, it is heard on day-to-day basis and the case is decided within 6 months to a year maximum. Here, a murder case in the trial court, the case goes on for 3 to 4 years, as you rightly said. The trial judge, for various reasons, may convict. It goes to High Court, and there it is another 2-3 years. And you remember the corruption case of Jayalalitha. Jayalalitha and Sasikala, they were charged for misappropriation. The case was transferred from Tamil Nadu court to Karnataka court. And Karnataka court, High Court judge, acquits her, and the matter is went to the Supreme Court. It is pending for 6-7 years, and the judgment comes only after the death of Jayalalitha. Immediately after the death of Jayalalitha, within a month, the case judgment comes, and Sasikala is sent to prison for 4 years. Just see, I don't want to find out what is the motive behind that. But as you rightly said, earlier the judiciary was the only savior of the country because the failure of the executive and the legislature. But of late, as you said, probably there are some dark spots in the judiciary also. But I don't want to paint every judges with the same brush. But there are certain elements because, see, there is a rule for everybody that the judgment of the Supreme Court is bail is a rule and jail is an exception. But we have seen cases where people are put behind the bar for years together, whether it is in Delhi excise case. And see, After 2 years, the Supreme Court says that you cannot deprive personal liberty for so long, and the bail is given. And the trial judges are directed by Supreme Court that whatever the offense, you must first provide bail to the accused, because you should not deny the liberty. In spite of various guidelines given by the Supreme Court, even to this stage, the trial courts are reluctant to grant bail in the heinous cases. Of course, they always, when we come across them informally, they say they lay down the law, but if we give bail, they think that there was some other consideration for the bail. So they are afraid of it. So the entire judicial system, if it all has to be near to people, it has to be reformed from the root. And my friends, you will agree that the judges are not from heaven. So they only come from the society. And what society is reflected in the quality of judges. What what is the quality of the bar is reflected in the bench. So unless we all, we don't get the Justice Krishna Iyers anymore. The justice, great judges who withstood the emergency, fought against emergency, and Justice Khanna, who gave a judgment against the emergency, was not elevated as the Chief Justice and he had to retire. And now the next incoming Chief Justice, Mr. Khanna, is a nephew of that great Justice Khanna. So there are several factors which affecting the judicial system also. There are some double standards, I totally agree. But end of the day, when the executive and the legislature are failing us so badly, we have to look up to the judiciary only, because there are several cases. Probably the judiciary has made justice to us, whether it is an election bond case, though it is delayed. There are several cases which required courts to go against the executive. They have done so. So probably the good days we need to hope for in future.
Hariom.
So at the end of the day, what is the solution, sir?
Solution is only one thing: the bright and the young mind, who are the see, there are students coming from the national law schools. They don't come to the judiciary because the pay pack of a Supreme Court judge, even to this age, 3.5 lakhs per year. High Court judge gets about 3 lakhs. There are several very good legal brains, smart legal brains, efficient legal brains. They are earning that kind of money in a day in the Supreme Court and High Courts. Unless the securities and the privileges of the judges are improved, you won't get the best quality of people coming to the judiciary. See, today the technology has come to that level. You can sit in Kerala, you can sit in Kodagu and appear before the Supreme Court. So traveling cost is reduced. We need to use this technology for the benefit. We need the best young brains coming from the best law colleges who are taught the professional ethics as much as other legal subjects. Because if you don't have professional ethics, you, whatever professional you, whether it's an advocate or the judge of the court, you will not be able to do justice. There should be a strict guidelines for various laws, whether it is providing bail, whether the disposal of the case. The CPC have been amended. Now, any civil dispute earlier used to take 15-20 years, but let me tell you with confidence, now any case will have to be disposed within 12 to 18 months. And it is happening. Very few cases are pending of over 20 years. There may be exceptions. But earlier, majority of cases used to go for 5 to 10 years. Now the timeline is within 1 year, because there are some reformations in the civil procedure code, criminal procedure code. Trials are held faster. Only thing we need that the judges sitting in the court because we have laws, we have rules, but somebody has to implement it. That is for the judges. So the reformation has to come within the judiciary. The best legal brains should come to the judiciary, and they should be paid better, handsome salary, so that they don't go to the corporate world. So these are the things, probably some changes we can think of.
Hariom.
But the fact is that, Mr. No ordinary man can fight a case in the Supreme Court.
That is very true.
Money is the thing, but how many of us can afford that money in Supreme Court? Because in a person, I am talking about my own personal case, and I have a case filed in the Supreme Court regarding my career in 2021, and still till this date it is not even heard. It hasn't come for the trial.
That is the sad part.
How many more years and how much money I can spend on this?
That is a difficult.
25,000 rupees I already paid to the advocate, and he said he's helpless. The registrar should take up the papers. Then only it works.
But
And
you
then he indirectly says that he should be bribed. Then only the papers will come up. How many of us can afford this?
No. That is not only your story. That is a sad story of most Indians, especially who are from South India. See, there was a proposal earlier to have a benches of Supreme Court set up in 4 parts of India: South, North, East, and West. Somehow the judiciary itself are reluctant to give a bench here, because if the bench comes to Kerala, Tamil Nadu, or Bangalore, wherever, at least the accessibility is more. But one more thing, as I rightly said, you cannot go to Supreme Court Delhi for the case. Now only access is to appear through online mode. And as a senior citizen, if at all you are above 60, there is a particular provision made for the disposal of senior citizen case on a priority basis. You please ask your advocate to invoke that provision as a senior citizen. And of course, the face value in courts matter a lot. I'm not saying that, disputing that fact, but you can always try to impress upon the judges about your case being pending for long. And with due respect to the advocate representing you, most of the time we advocate are also responsible for delay in the judicial delivery system, justice delivery system. And the advocates can always, let me tell you, if they are very firm with their dates, they should not take adjournments. We blame the judges for delay, but I also should say most of the time the advocates I've seen, whether in trial courts or high courts, just go there with a file, take an adjournment, and come back. That affects the client more. So please see that the advocate, I'm not blaming your advocate, but whoever advocate is representing you, if he is very firm that my matter has to be heard, if the registrar is not posting the matter, it can be brought to the notice of the justices in the open court, because the registrar cannot pick and choose the case he wants to post. The Justice Chandrachud or whoever the Chief Justice next is the master of roster, we call master of roster. He has every right to post the cases before the court. So it is not just the problem with the judiciary, it is also the problem with the legal representatives that both needs to take the blame for that.
Hariom.
Okay, sir. Thank
അപ്പോൾ
you.
ഇവിടെ ഏകദേശം സമയമായിരിക്കുന്നു. We are close to 8 o'clock. So I think we can conclude today's ഭൗതിക്. So നമുക്ക് വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട വിഷയങ്ങളെ കുറിച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് സംസാരിച്ചത്. നിരഞ്ജൻ സാർ പറഞ്ഞത് മൊബൈൽ ഫോൺ ന്യൂക്ലിയർ ബോംബിനെക്കാട്ടിലും പവർഫുൾ ആണ് പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു സമാജത്തിന് തന്നെ എങ്ങനെ ഇത് ഓരോ കുടുംബ ബന്ധങ്ങളും ഇതെല്ലാം നശിപ്പിക്കാം. ഒരു പവർഫുൾ വെപ്പനാണ് നമ്മുടെ സാധനം എപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ കൊണ്ടു നടക്കുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇനി മുൻപോട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഇതെല്ലാം ചർച്ച ചെയ്ത് നമുക്ക് നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തെ, നമ്മുടെ മൂല്യങ്ങളെയൊക്കെ തിരിച്ച് നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ സാധിക്കും എന്ന് നമുക്ക് hope. We always have hope that our life will become better and we'll be able to cope up with new technologies. And more than that, നമ്മുടെ ജുഡീഷ്യറി ഇനിയും നല്ലതാവും, എളുപ്പം. നമ്മുടെ കാലത്ത് തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യം നല്ല രീതിയിൽ ഇനി മുൻപോട്ട് പോകും എന്ന് കരുതാം. ഇന്ന് ഈ ഭൗതിക്കിൽ ചർച്ച ചെയ്ത എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഈ നമ്മുടെ ഭൗതിക്കിൽ വന്ന് ഇത്ര നല്ല കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മളോട് പറഞ്ഞു തന്ന അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് നിരഞ്ജൻ സാറിന് നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെ പേരിലും സമിതിയുടെ പേരിലും എൻ്റെ പേരിലും നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുന്നു. ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
താങ്ക് യു.
അതേപോലെ ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ അഡ്വക്കേറ്റിനെ ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്ത പ്രീജിത അക്കയ്ക്കും നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെ പേരിലും നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുന്നു. അടുത്ത ഞായറാഴ്ച വേറൊരു ഭൗതിക്കിൽ കാണാം. എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലൊരു ദിവസം നേരുന്നു. ഹരി ഓം.